Now we're ready to generate our auth feature. In module 4, video 19, I have a link here, snippets. I'll be running a command in the command line in a minute. You could copy and paste that into your command line if you want to by using the snippets link. And then if we click on the documentation, this will send us to the documentation on how to generate a feature. And we're inside the NGRX schematics and feature. Before we were generating each file, like the action file, the reducer file, we were running commands for each of those files. You don't actually have to do that. You could use the feature and just generate all 4 of those files with one command. And that's what we'll do in this video. Copy this command and we'll use 5 options total. We'll be using the group. The group is for adding each file, like your action file within an action folder, your reducer file within its reducer folder. And I'll be showing you that in a second. We'll also use the module. In this case, we'll be configuring it to our auth module. The reducers, we already have the index file created in the store, and all we need to do is configure it to that index file. And also the API and the skip test. We'll be using a total of 5 options. Let's generate our new feature. In the terminal, paste. And where do we want to create our new feature? And we'll create that within the global store. And I'll call all the files auth. In this case, the reason I'm picking the global store is I like to treat the auth module like it's a shared file, since it's so important to the application. In future modules, like when we set up the cart, category, products, all those features will store in their individual modules. In the auth module, however, I'll store all those files within this store folder. Let's start adding in our flags now, and we'll start off with the group and set that to true. And what this will do is create the action file within the action folder, the effect file within the effect folder. And if you didn't have these folders automatically created, it would generate it for you. The next flag is reducers. And that's going to be our main index file, so index.ts file. And then the next one's going to be module. This one's going to be a little different. Last time when we used this module flag, we configured it to our main app module, but in this case, it's going to be our auth module, and that is inside of our modules folder and module TS file. And then the next flag is going to be our API. Set that to true. And I'm going to close this down and give us more space. And the last flag we're going to use is skip test. And true, and then also use the dry run, and if we make any mistakes we don't have to go back and delete all the files. Hit enter. Yes, let's import those create functions, and here are all the files it will generate for us, and they're all in their individual folders, like the actions folder, the reducers folder, and that's what happens when you use the group and you set it to true. And that's perfect. And then it's going to automatically configure it to our index file and also automatically configure our auth module. That's exactly what we're looking for. Let's run this command, hit up, remove the dry run. Yes again. And let's check out all the files that were generated. If we go into the store now, inside the actions folder, there should be a auth action. There it is. And it automatically set up some code for us, and also it pulled in the create action as we specified in the command line. And also there should be an effect file, reducer, and selector. And then also it configures it to our index file right here. So it pulls it in there and here as well. Let's open up our auth module. And as you can see, the auth module has changed. And if I put this on the new line, here you'll notice a difference. We're using the for feature now, not the for root. If we open up our main app module, before we used the for root for our effect file and our store, but now we're using the for feature for our effects and for our reducer. And to set up a feature, you use the key and then also the reducer file, and then the effect module. You could use it exactly like you use the for root. You just pull in all your different effects. Like you could have multiple effects within this array here. And that's how you configure your auth module. Now we just set up our feature. We want to test everything. Let's restart the application since we made some changes to our modules. Open up the command line. I have that window right here. restart the application, so shut it down. Run npm run dev. And let's check this out in the browser. And the application is still working. And then if we check out the developer tools, click on Redux and click on the current state. And now we have a auth feature in our store. In the next video, let's begin logging the user in by creating actions and setting up the reducer, and we'll do that next.